Hi guys, it's Steph from Sent from Heaven. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I am going to be doing a beginner friendly recipe. I'm going to be doing everything including all of the weighing. The only thing I won't be weighing in front of you is going to be my mango seed butter, because I had to weigh it before I started because I wasn't entirely sure I had enough. So that's the only thing that I haven't already weighed out, but I will just show you. I'm gonna weigh an empty container here, which is the same as the one I've got. So that's at 0, and then I put on my mango seed butter and it's 250.1. I'm hoping that you can see it on the video. Just push that a little bit closer. That's about as close as I can get, but that is 250.2, so that's my mango seed butter. And then I'm going to put this one back on, and it is already at 0. Now my recipe calls for 50 grams of castor oil. I always struggle with the castor oil because it's a really thick, kind of sticky oil. Trying to get the right amount without going over, I do struggle. And instead I'm basically pouring it down my bottle. 57. Let's pour some back. I'm probably going to end up having to do this a couple of times. This is why I always do my castor oil first in any recipe that I do, because I am terrible. 51.7, I'm going to leave it there because otherwise I will definitely have to do it again. So that's done. What I'm going to do is, from here, I'm just going to pour it into my big bucket, which is here. Okay. And then put that back on there. Tear it again. And then I'm doing 250 grams of coconut oil. Now, as you can see here, my coconut oil is completely liquid. So we live in Australia, it is currently summer, and all of my coconut oil has completely turned liquid, which is good for soap making because it makes things a lot easier. 151.7. I'm definitely going on the 1.7s at the moment. A little bit over is not too bad. It's more under that would start being a little bit worried, but even so, I've always got, I know for this soap, I've got an 8% superfat. So I know that even if for some reason I was to go a little bit under, then I have that safety net for my soaps. But you never want to go over if you can avoid it. Okay, and now my olive oil, and I need 450 grams of my olive oil. spot on, 450 flat. Okay. So that one then also goes into my bucket. Now, I'm going to do my lye solution before I melt my mango butter. So, I just need to pull that one aside. Okay, so here I have my lye bucket, which is going to hold my lye, like pearl type things. I'm going to have it in there before I grab my water. So I know that I need it's 135.4 grams of lye. So I'm just going to open up my bucket. Rearrange it because there was a little thing that was a lump that was about to fall into it, which would make it a little bit harder at this stage. Now, so I've gone over. It's very hard with a big bucket for me to get it right. Just gonna go really slow. That's it. All right. It is a little bit over, but that tiny little amount is really not going to make that much of a difference. And as I said, I do have that 8% superfat, which does act like a little bit of a buffer. And so here I have what was my mango butter container. Now I have double checked, it has got, oh, hard to see, a 5 pp on the bottom there. So I know that that is safe to use for my lye solution. I just thought because it was a clear bucket, it was going to be really nice and easy for us to see. So I need 300 grams of water. Now what I have done is I've put it into ice cubes because I want to use my lye fairly well immediately. Normally I would make it and then leave it till the next day until it has cooled down before I would use it. But today I decided because I want to use it immediately, I'll make it with ice cubes, and that should make it easy and cool down quite quickly. So just going to 300 grams, so it's going to be quite a bit. Oh, don't fall off. 300 grams. Okay, so I've got my 300 grams of my water there, and I have my lye here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push some of that in there and just do this. It will start to heat up and it will start to melt that water. Well, melt the ice, turn it into water. So it's sort of turning a little bit more sludgy now. I'm going to put in a little bit more. Okay, so that is all of my lye has been incorporated into this ice, so it's not very icy anymore, is it? So that will pretty well turn clear not too long away. All of that ice has pretty well completely dissolved now. And just going to go in with my temperature. It's currently 23.6 degrees, which is not very far off room temp. So I'm just going to put this over the side just so that it's out of the way while I'm finishing up with the rest of the oils, melting the mango butter and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to melt my mango butter in the microwave in just 30-second bursts so that I have got it there. I'll just make sure that I keep checking on it because I don't want to over melt it, I don't want to burn it. So I do just quick little 30-second ones, have a look at it, stick it in for another 30 seconds. When it's getting close to being completely melted, I will then take it out and just stir it. Normally it'll fully dissolve by then. Okay, so I will see you in a moment. Okay, so while that was melting, I just set up my area here. So I have got my mango butter here. It is pretty well completely melted. It is melted. I have got a container here which I am going to measure out my fragrance oil. I have got here blackberry from Simply Candle Supplies. Max usage is 5%. I have 1,000 grams of oils. So the maximum that I can use is B50, but generally I don't go above around 40 or so. So I'm just going to measure that out. Yeah, so I've got about 41.2 here. So if I can bring it up, 41.2, unless it has changed, which it probably would be because I am moving up. It's around 41.2. I'm trying to get it while it's moving, and never a good idea to move scales. So that is the fragrance oil there, and I am going to also get some mica. So I have got here purple pizzazz mica from Heirloom. I'm going to get a teaspoon of that. I can always get more if I need it later, if I think that the color's not right. And then also, because that isn't the kind of purple that I want, I do want something slightly darker. I am also going to use some activated charcoal. And I am just using 1/8 of a teaspoon here, because I don't want it to override the purple. I just want it to make the purple slightly deeper. Just give me a moment to clean this up. Good as new. And what I can do, which will make it easier for me, is to just grab, don't want to tip over my mango butter. I'm just going to grab, I just realized that wasn't a teaspoon, it's a 3/4 teaspoon. Oh well. So I've grabbed one of the little spoons there of oils, and I'm just mixing it into my mica and charcoal. Still a little bit thick. Might just grab a little bit more. I could just leave it where it is now, but having a little bit more will make it flow out easier. It will make it disperse easier inside of the oils when I'm ready to color it. Now, before it gets too late, I don't want my mango butter to start to get hard again. So I'll put that off the side just in case I want any more. I've got my oils here. You can see a little bit of mica I dropped inside there as I was trying to get the oil, but that's fine. I'm going to pour my mango butter in here, and because I was pretty much spot on with how much mango butter I had left, I'm going to scrape everything I have got into this container, because we don't want to waste a drop. And I'm just stirring it all in there. Now, if you feel more comfortable, you can add more colors if you want to. You can do more designs if you want to. I am keeping this one color because I believe that when you are learning, it is easier to just focus on getting one color or no color, and maybe not fragrance. It's always good to start out with no fragrance because you don't know how it's going to behave, if it accelerates, if it rises, anything like that, if it starts having behavioral problems. If you already know what you're looking for when you start to make your soap, you'll have a better chance of being able to figure out what's going on. So I think it's always better, no color, no fragrance to start with. My first probably 30 batches, I had no color, no fragrance. Then I got really excited. I bought heaps of micas, I bought heaps of fragrances, and then realized that the companies that I use for my candle companies didn't always make soap safe fragrances. So always check your guidelines on whether or not your fragrance is soap safe, and check the usage on it. So all different fragrances will have different usages. So some of mine have a 2% usage, some of them have 1%. This one is 5%. So always check that it is safe to use in soap. So I have my oils here. My lye is just over there. I'm gonna grab that now. Okay, so there's my lye solution. It is still cloudy, but it is safe to use. I will double check its temperature. 25, sorry, and then my oils are 27.5. I don't normally check my temperatures of my lye and my oils because I normally soap at room temperature. It doesn't really faze me what is going on with them. So what I'm going to do is stick in my blender as normal, going to get those bubbles out. And then I'm going to pour in my lye mixture. So I'm just going to pop this off the side. Oh, maybe I've gotten that covered in lye, so I may as well cover it with soap butter instead. So that has now got my lye in it, and I always give it a little bit of a stir first so I know that it looks like it's doing well, and then I go give it a little buzz. You can see that it's starting to change a little bit more, and then I'll just keep mixing until I think that it's at a good consistency. So you see it's all coming together. It's starting to look like it's a little bit more like a soap butter consistency. Okay, so it's at what I would consider now to be a light trace. I'm going to put in my mica now. Okay, so now my mica is in. I'll give it a bit of a stir again, try and incorporate all of that colour into the batter. I am quite liking the colour of that. I think it's looking pretty close to what I was going for. Just see if I can get any more of that mica out of the little container. I don't want to have to make up any more. There is still some left in that bottom of that container there. I'm just trying to get it out. Okay, I think that's about all we're going to be able to get out. So I'm starting to get to a medium trace now. I'm going to pour my fragrance oil in, I'm going to mix it up, and then I'm going to get it into the mold. That blackberry fragrance is so lovely. It's just that fruity, oh, it's hard to describe. It's very, very nice. I very much like it. It's not one I use for soap very often. It's more one I use quite a lot in candles, but it is very, very yummy smelling. So I'm just going to give it one last little stir around with my little spatula. And then I am going to try and find a way that I can pour that you can still see. So I'm just scraping out the inside of my container now. You can see that it's definitely a thicker consistency now, and that's obviously what it's going to do. It is soap, it is going to thicken up, it is going to get eventually nice and hard, turn into a soap bar that we can use. Sorry, just trying to get all of that batter in there. So I'm just going to bring it all out to the corners. If you want to, once it completely goes opaque, that is generally when it has emulsified, and you can pour it in the mold while it's still at a very thin trace, and that will give you more time to be able to do what you want with the top. But if you do pour it in when it is too thin, you will have to wait longer to be able to do any designs if you want a textured top. If you're doing multiple colors and you want to do swirls, a thin trace is really good because you will have more time to be able to do the swirls on the inside of the soap. But again, if you want to texture the top, it will take longer and you'll have to wait until it sets up to be able to do that. Now, I haven't really decided what I was going to do with this top. I was kind of more focused on what scent I was going to be using and everything. I should really tap it down. and that helps to release any air bubbles that are inside of the soap, get them all the way up to the top, and hopefully we don't get any bubbles. And then I might just do this or something along the lines of this. Okay, that'll do. So then all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take a little bit of my paper towel here. I'm going to wipe along the edges, and that just tidies it up. And there you go. Apart from cleanup, this could be your very first soap. I have just some little isopropyl, I can't speak, isopropyl alcohol. I'm just going to give the top a little bit of a spray. I do have 30% water in there, so I know it is going to be fairly prone to having soda ash on top. I am prepared for that. Soda ash doesn't really bother me. It is just cosmetic, but if you spray a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on there, you're less likely to get it. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. If you learnt anything, like and subscribe. If you like the soap, send me a comment. If you managed to make your own soap from this recipe, please let me know. Send me a comment, send me a photo, let me see what it looks like. Well, thank you so much again for watching, and thank you so much for all my new subscribers. It was lovely to see I reached over 100. That was very exciting for me. All right, guys, I'll see you when I cut it. Bye.